Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Angling and Arrows. In this upcoming episode you're going to see my 2020 velvet woodland caribou hunt. With the exception of the fact that Devlin was unable to accompany me on that hunt, it was probably one of my more memorable. It would have been even better if Devlin could be there, but due to school commitments that wasn't possible. But in the 30 days in September-October period of 2020, I succeeded in harvesting the Newfoundland Grand Slam. That's a woodland caribou, a black bear and a moose. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time in one season, and it's next to impossible to do unless if you actually have the opportunity to hunt for a charity. And that's because the moose and caribou are part of the same draw system in Newfoundland, but I actually hunt for a registered charity in Newfoundland and donate the meat to that charity. So that year I harvested a black bear and a moose, which was entirely donated to charity, as well as this caribou that you're about to see. So this hunt started when I decided that I wanted to try and harvest a velvet caribou. And it began in April of that year when I did some research into how to preserve the velvet, and I ended up ordering a product called Velvolac. And as you'll see end of the video there's a picture of the bottle and the caribou after I sprayed it. The product worked fantastic. I have nothing but great things to say about it. It's a do-it-yourself way to cure velvet. It's been almost 2.5 years since I treated it, and it's held up well. So also with this hunt, this caribou has actually qualified for a top 5 Pope and Young. That's the records organization in North America that keeps track of the largest animals that have been harvested. It's a way to pay respect to the animal, just to keep a record of the size of the animals that have been harvested, and it also gives an indication of the health of the animals in certain areas. Devlin here is holding the plaque that I have. It shows the 249 5/8 measurements. It's a pending score because anything in the top 5 has to go to panel in the Reno, and it will be confirmed by a panel of judges. So my antlers are currently down there, and I haven't received the final score yet, but I'm anticipating they're going to be somewhere in the top 5 in the world all time in the category of velvet woodland caribou. So you'll have to stay tuned to the channel to see an update on that. So about this hunt coming up now, myself, Brad Pike and Kyle Williams did this hunt. It was originally intended to be filmed for the Newfoundland Sportsman. We were going to do a guest show on their behalf, but then COVID hit and they ended up deciding to retire after quite a lengthy and distinguished career. Dwight and Gord both retired, and I wish you guys well. So this is how myself and Kyle ended up hunting together, and he was originally supposed to be the host of this show, but as it turns out it's now airing on my and Devlin's channel. Right, Devlin?
Yeah.
So on this hunt, myself, Kyle Williams and Brad Pike headed into Middle Ridge in central Newfoundland. Myself and Kyle are both shooting elite bows. I've been using mine for about 10 years. I pound it pretty hard. I'm quite hard on equipment, and on the ATVs and stuff, my elite bow has held up fantastic. This video was no different. And the winds were quite high here. There were 50 plus kilometers. So I opted for the Swacker broadheads. They're an expandable broadhead with a very low profile. I found them really well. They worked awesome in windy conditions. And again, in this video, it's no secret, obviously, that I did harvest caribou, so you'll see those broadheads at work. And at the end of the video, there's a little shot of Devlin, who unfortunately didn't get to participate. Do you wish you were there?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like going in the woods?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of still pictures of Devlin, who's helping to clean up the caribou when we got back to Torbay. So fast forward to now, I'm getting ready to attend the convention in Reno next month in April, and I thought this was a really appropriate time to air this video. And hopefully a couple of the sponsors in this video will have a look at it and they'll like what they see. Again, I've got to give a shout out to Elite Archery Products. My Elite 32, I've been using it again for 10 years. It's an awesome product. Swacker broadheads, Velvolac. These products, they do exactly what they say they do on their websites. They're fantastic. And I do believe Velvolac has also added a whole bunch of products to their line. They have skull whitener, hide curing solutions. So they're certainly a company that you should check out. And in the end of the video, you'll see when I do a little talk there's a little discussion about optics as well and how important they are. And have a look and you'll see what we thought of the Vortex rangefinder that we used in this video. But anyway, enough of that and commercials. We're going to get right into the video now, guys. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do,
be sure to like and subscribe. And follow us on YouTube and Instagram.
Straight, buddy. And you're going to go with us this year if we try and harvest another caribou?
Yeah, if Mom lets me.
Awesome. Well, it's early season, September, during the archery season, and I'm hoping to get a woodland caribou in full velvet. It's always been a goal of mine, so that's what we're going to try for. So I have a cabin in Area 64, so we're headed in there for a couple of days. We're going to do some glassing, and Kyle, you tend to know this country a little better than me, so you're going to show us around, I think, are you?
Hopefully I can. Like you say, this is the first week of the caribou season, so the velvet should be still on them to get your velvet antler one.
Perfect. Sounds good to me. And Brad's along. He's going to do a little bit of filming with the other camera, and just enjoy the hunt. And hopefully we'll be able to get a shot at one. Kyle's going to shoot a couple of arrows with his bow now to make sure that it's working. He's probably going to use his 20-yard pin. That target is 18 yards. After he draws back. Or actually, you go ahead and release it. Stopped here on a ridge now. It's day number 1 of our caribou hunt. We're here this evening hoping that we're going to see a caribou. The caribou hunting involves a lot of glassing. Unlike moose hunting, you can't call caribou, so most of your time is spent just looking over the open country, trying to find those big stags. Shoot on.
Yeah. What have we got in the menu, Steve?
We're going to have a bit of canned moose here now. Some of last year's moose. Yep, some moose and bread and butter. And depending on how hungry we are, we could put on a little bit of rice if we so desire.
Yeah, you never know. Nothing like a little Tony cook up at the end of the day hunt.
That's my new 21st century can opener there. Yeah, it's hard to beat. Some moose I canned up there a few weeks ago, just finishing up the last little bit I had from last year. So I prefer the cans over the bottles because they don't break as easy when you're beating around on the ATVs and stuff.
So makes everything work well. This is what the it lives for.
They're going on the hook up there after. I can take them.
I just put them there, not just to get them out of the way.
Oh, yeah, no, wait. And I'll get it home. You need your own. Apparently I don't have any say in it, but you carry on. you're doing fine.
I just hang on the frying pan or two.
Seeing anything, Kyle? What's the prospects look like?
We'll get one. Like you say, over the next ridge could be something else there. Could see anything over the next ridge. You know what it is.
Awesome, buddy! Woo! Got him!
Buddy.
Whacker broadhead. Caribou in full velvet. Middle Ridge, Area 64. Kyle Williams, baby.
Yes, sir, buddy. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with this fella.
No.
3 of us came into Middle Ridge. We got in here yesterday. We're doing a 3-day woodland caribou hunt here in Middle Ridge. I had set out, I had kind of my mind made up what type of an animal that I was looking for. We saw this guy this morning out there, and when I saw his big shovel and it's kind of an atypical caribou wreck, I said, yeah, he's going to be a shooter for me, and I like the meat for the freezer as well. And myself and Kyle decided to put a little stock in on him. We got into about 50 yards, and he didn't seem too spooked, so we got in a little bit closer. He was just feeding away. We had the wind in our favor, so we got into about 18 yards. Shooting with the bow, so my range is about 40, so 18 yards was a perfect, nice, easy shot for me. And we took us a little bit of time when myself and Kyle were watching him over here feeding. It took 4 or 5 minutes before he turned and presented with a good broadside shot. When I shot him, the arrow there went in. You can see the arrow, it went in about 25 inches. When he fell down, he snapped off the arrow, so we've got to find the broadhead. But passed through, made a good clean kill. He ran about probably 70 yards, and here he is, my 2020 woodland caribou. So our goal now is to get this fella cleaned up, get back to camp, get him put on ice, and we're going to go looking for black bear tonight on Middle Ridge. See if Kyle here can put a tag on something. We're back at the camp now. It's a couple hours after we shot the caribou. We took an hour, we cleaned up the meat, we got it all put in the cooler on ice because the temperature today is about 20 degrees. A little bit cooler with the wind, but we didn't want the meat to spoil, so we cut up the quarters and deboned some of it and packed it all in the cooler. So we thought we'd just take this opportunity to talk about a couple of hunting tools that you use. When you're hunting, optics are very important, whether it's a scope for your rifle or your binoculars for spotting the animals. And when you're bow hunting, nothing is more true than having a good quality rangefinder, because the difference of 10 yards in estimating your shot is the difference between a hit or a miss. So Kyle here was generous enough to loan me his Vortex optics rangefinder. Works fantastic. The response time when you push the button was second to none. I ranged that caribou. We started at about 50 yards, kept approaching. I ranged it in until we got to just shy of 20, 18 yards actually on the Vortex, and that's when I released the arrow and the caribou came down. So that's a must-have. The selection of arrows, there's so many on the market now. The technology's evolved so far over the past decade or so. Everyone has their own preferences. I sometimes use the fixed blades as well. When you're hunting up here in the open country, I find my personal preference, Kyle disagrees with me somewhat, but I just find that the profile of the fixed blades is a little bit larger and the arrow tends to catch more wind and blow away. So I've opted to use a mechanical broadhead. The profile of this it's a very small profile. It doesn't catch any wind, so there's very little lateral movement of the arrow. When it opens, they call it mechanical because the blades will open. It gives you a 2-inch cut on the animal. So your exit wound is quite large, and as you can see from the video of the caribou we shot this morning, with the Swacker broadhead, it ran less than 80 yards, and by the time we walked over to it, the animal had expired. It was a perfectly humane kill, and you can't ask for your equipment to do any more than that. Vortex and Swacker. Yeah, we had planned on coming for 3 or 4 days. It wasn't necessary. The weather's a little bit warm, so we got our animal. We saw quite a few animals. They were spread out. But if we did our glassing, you could spot them in the country.
Oh, we seen about what, 30 caribou, 1 bear, bunch of geese and ducks that won't be around another couple of weeks.
Yeah. And so yeah, no, it was a perfect couple of days. I got the caribou and velvet that I was looking for. Had a great time with Kyle. Thanks for your assistance, buddy.
Yes, not a problem, buddy.
Brad Pike is standing behind the camera there now. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, and really good time we had. I can't wait for for our next trip then.
Next trip, couple of weeks, we'll come back, try for a moose.
Yeah, and hopefully see what happens. And you never know. Like you said, we got a beautiful day, nice ride out, and everything should be good from there on. Hopefully it'll be all good.
Thanks for watching.
Well, Steve, buddy, got another one with the bow.
We got another one with the bow, yeah.
Yeah. We oh, now we start over again. Now we gotta try to figure out something. Just push pause again.
See you later. And here he is.
A lot of good eating. A lot of good eating in this
A
one.
lot of good eating. He looks like Jim Shackey. He looks like Jim Shackey.
Ah,
He looks like Jim Shackey.
Jim Shackey out the helmet on, yeah.
That old juice. Can't waste that.
That's what it
That's part of it.
Yeah,
That's what puts the flavour on the juice.
Well, juice, oh yeah. It must be, because I know he got a mug of it, and you got a pot of it, and what have I got over here? Nothing except you telling me it's the best part of the meal.
Welcome back to another episode of Newfoundland Sportsman. I'm your co-host.
Yeah.
You're running somewhere?
You see,
What's the prospects look like?
Not very good. Not much on you.
That's my new 21st century can opener there.
Welcome to another episode of the Newfoundland Sportsman. I'm your co-host.
Try to give it a
Yeah.
Lot easier on TV to look here when you're gaffing it.
Oh,
give her.
well, you started again and laughed at that. We're up in Middle Ridge hunting woodland caribou. And this is Steve's. Oh, hold on. I was trying to take that. I was going to say it then. I was going off good.
You were doing good.
Yeah.
Do you think, Pike, you coming back caribou hunting again?
That's not right. You can edit that one out. I'm a mouthful of food.
They're one on the hook up there after her.
Huh?
They're one hung up from that, or that's where they're going. I can take it, these are on.
Oh,
Apparently they don't have any say in it, plus. I can't lie, this is my favourite spot at the cabin, and it's even better when I got two camp buddies in there to do all the work for me. Won't even lie, I'm going to drink beer while they cook my supper. It's a great job if you can get it.
anyway, but I think tomorrow morning, now we'll have a nice little caribou, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
What did you just ask me, Kyle? What did you just ask me then?
Oh, I don't know.
Kyle says, you can't see that caribou behind me, can you?